Welcome back to the Pro Football Pod. We are bringing you the Week 14 quarterbacks and wide receivers matchups preview. We have some freaking matchups against some quarterbacks
Great,
this week.
great like playoff style games this week.
Oh, I think we've said it a bunch of times in a row, but
That
the
one.
schedule this week or this season is unreal. Like AWS, if they're actually making the schedule like the commercials say, it's been unreal how many competitive, really great games we've had between playoff teams already. Like very
Except for the
few
primetime games.
I mean, that's happened because of injuries mostly. That and the Giants sucked, and nobody saw that coming. I guess, except for Austin. He tried to tell him.
No, I did think the Giants were kind of like the Vikings in too many close games last year that I feel like they kind of eked out there. Because, I
Yep.
mean, you look at Daniel Jones' stat line from last year, that does not look like a playoff quarterback stat line. So that's just prime example number one. But let's get into it. Not to preview these games too much because we're going to make y'all come in live for the Friday episode whenever we do our betting preview and really outline and outlook these full games here. But we've got Pat Mahomes versus Josh Allen, and then we've got another Dak versus Jalen Hurts matchup as well. Electric fantasy output type games. These are the games where you're trying to bet all the player props because you're just hoping for something awesome. You're trying to load up on all of these players, get pretty much you want these two games, all of the players in your lineup.
So the first one we've got Pat and Josh, right? And I think it's kind of funny if you think about that. Josh Allen's defense has been pretty bad, and their offense has been pretty bad, but like at least the better part of their team.
Josh has been good. As you
And
take
he's been
away
fine.
him throwing an interception at bad times in every game, but at this point, like I do have to. How much of it is him just trying to play Superman because he kind of has to?
Now, on the opposite stance, Kansas City's defense is legit. They've had some bad games in the last couple of weeks where they haven't totally taken teams
Jordan
down.
Love just torched him.
But they are legit. We've seen them all season be legit. And their offense has been horrible. Like, absolutely horrible. So I think that we could see a shootout in this game because of the offense for the Bills being able to turn it up a little bit. And then the defense for the Bills being so bad that Rashee Rice and Kelsey can actually get somewhere. Kelsey's been getting locked down since he got like 12 catches for 140 yards. He really hasn't had a great game unless he's had a touchdown.
Taylor Swift was in the house too.
I know.
And how he didn't ball out in Green Bay is absolutely beyond me. I mean, yardage catch wise, but Noah Gray, he stole the tutty from him. So
thank you, I mean, Noah Gray.
As far as that matchup, fantasy wise, I like Pat versus the Bills defense more than I like Josh versus the Chiefs defense. Now, obviously, you're starting both guys. They're both going to give you great games. But as far as picking one of them, that's where I'm leaning. Next game with Philly versus Dallas. Man, the way Philly's just been letting quarterbacks just eat yardage versus them, I've got to lean Dak. Like, I know Hurts is going to get a tush push into the end zone. Like, you just know it's going to it's one of the most automatic bets at this point. If they get it down to the 2-yard line, a tush push is coming.
How is it even money still at this point?
I truly, I don't know. Like, I would not be shocked to see next week it come out at least minus 170.
In the past 3 seasons, Jalen Hurts has 35 rushing touchdowns, which is more than Saquon Barkley has in his entire
how many of
career.
Those are from the 3-yard line or closer.
I'm sure over half. It's like, unreal, dude. He has more touchdowns rushing than Saquon Barkley, a legit elite running back that everybody loves.
I mean, look at the quads on both those guys.
Yeah, true story.
You're gonna get yourself in the end zone.
Whereas on the opposite side of the ball, on the defensive side, like I said, Philly's pass defense has pretty much been Swiss cheese. Now, you can't really run the ball on them unless your name is Christian McCaffrey. But
he's the best running back in football.
Yeah. So
best O-line in football too.
To me, that's where again, kind of looking at the last game, I like Dak versus Philly's defense more than I like Jalen versus Dallas's defense. Because Dallas's defense has just been shown to make plays, even just outside of guys named, Deron Bland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what.
Jerron
He's been going
Kearse.
off. But
That's the thing about that
Gilmore,
defense is that you start doing what
Parsons.
Austin's doing. You just start naming stars. Like they've got player after player that's just willing to show
Lawrence.
up whenever it matters the most. Dude, that play that Lawrence made last on Sunday was ridiculous. It was like either like a strip sack or I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Bro,
But they're showing themselves though also as playmaking, but they are a bend don't break defense.
Yep.
Like they'll let you get those yards in the middle, which Dan Quinn has been typically famous for. But once you get down there 30-yard line and in, it starts to get a little tighter. And that's when they start forcing some mistakes. You settle for field goals, things like that. So that's definitely the outlook. Fantasy matchups galore in that game. Streamer, we mentioned him earlier in the week. Probably going to mention him a few more times this season. Gardner Minshew versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I see that game being kind of like the Titans, where it's just close enough to where they can't necessarily lean on Zach Moss the whole game. So I expect it to be another Gardner Minshew, Michael Pittman show. Alec Pierce may be coming up with a couple big plays. So you got to
That boy
start the
ballin'.
mullet man, Minshew mania. Got to.
I don't think that Downs is a player that I'm necessarily like starting. I'm definitely still watching him to see if he can get a couple more targets per game. But the fact that we're naming all of these weapons around Minshew, it really is saying why you need to start him. We all agree that he's not a top 10 quarterback in like ability, but his opportunities versus the Bengals are going to be plentiful. And he's available in so many leagues. It's crazy.
It sucks because they're like in the same division, but my two favorite underdog teams are the Colts and the Texans to move forward and make moves in the playoffs and stuff because these quarterbacks are playing out of their mind right now. And these receivers, the defenses on these teams are coming together.
Everything.
Like, yeah. So I like to see these teams moving forward.
What D'Amico Ryans is doing in Houston is historic. There's only like 4 coaches that have had like a rookie coach and a rookie quarterback that have been able to have a winning season ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Wide receivers that we're out looking this week. Couple guys that we wanted to touch on. DJ Moore versus the Detroit Lions, another pass defense that has been absolutely Swiss cheese and completely friendly to number 1 wide receivers that face them. So DJ Moore, he's going to continue to get 8 to 10 targets or more from Justin Fields.
I mean, he's
Plug
being
him,
paid
play
enough
him,
to.
don't worry about it, especially this week. Because you figure the Lions are going to keep them in the shootout. So regardless, you're getting second half garbage time stuff.
Yeah. DJ Moore is a top 5 receiver in talent. Like he's strong. He's just like AJ Brown in his ability to like win at the point of attack and then break tackles and get down the field. I mean, he's everything. If they actually get Caleb Williams, if they actually draft him at number 1 overall and they give him DJ Moore right away, he's going to have all he needs in weapons. They're not going to have to draft a bunch of guys. They probably will, but
I actually don't think Caleb Williams succeeds in that offense as well as Justin Fields can because Justin Fields is a lot better with his legs. Caleb Williams is like Patrick Mahomes. He can extend plays with his legs to where he can get his receivers to get open longer. Like his plays in the backfield are longer.
What you're saying, though, that's the thing, is if Justin Fields was like Caleb Williams and could make those plays with his arm, he would, versus taking off and running for a 20-yard gain. You love to see it. It's great for fantasy purposes, but they are going to have a serious discussion in that building on depending on how Justin Fields finishes this season and how he looks as a quarterback. Like just not just an athlete, but a quarterback.
So they would trade him away though. They wouldn't sit him behind.
No, yeah, you're
Jalen
gonna
Hurts. That would make
yeah,
no
no,
sense.
you're gonna trade him away, especially after what Badgett
What
just
team do
showed
you
you as a
think
backup.
would want him? Like or fit
Oh, there's
that
teams
system?
that would take him. There's teams that would take him for sure.
Because there's obviously a couple of teams that are in dire
Not even
need
that,
of a
he's
quarterback
got
right
talent.
now.
He's
Not
a top-
too many. So
He's
The
a
Raiders-
top 30. He's a top
Raiders
30
would absolutely
quarterback
trade
in
for
the
him.
league. Yeah, To put him on the rate 1,000%. That's electrifying.
I would love
Vegas
to see him
right
over there. I don't mind
That'd be
that.
awesome.
Oh, on the Falcons. I could see him on the Falcons.
Falcons is another one.
Falcons would be dope. Yeah,
It's going back home for him.
Yeah, it
So
is
that's
back
like
home
one
to
of those
Georgia.
stories.
Hey,
Yeah.
pin that. Put a pin in
Yeah.
that right there.
Pittsburgh, depending on how Kenny
We'll be right
Pickett
back.
looks, like he's been looking better since they fired Matt Canada, but Pittsburgh was
Now he's
looking for a quarterback
He's dealing
at one
with
point.
constant injuries at this point too. They can't really rely on him. So
Yeah.
He's been an injury-prone quarterback. Not many people have talked about like
They
we're
had
constantly
all
seeing Mitchell
he had
concussions last
Trubisky.
three
year?
concussions last year, and nobody talked about it all offseason. They just
They
talked about
did.
because
Tua.
of Tua.
No,
Yeah.
they did talk about him too, but like Tua was the mainstream guy to talk about. But like
he got
we do have to
mentioned
talk about
so
the fact
that
that
way
Pickett
nobody
can't stay
could
healthy.
say they were focusing on Tua. But
Because whenever you talk about Pickett as well, he's also the most like efficient quarterback with the ball in his hands. He does not turn it over. He's
right,
like the
he
number one
does.
quarterback in the league right now of doing that.
I
So-
think CJ Stroud probably is, but
no, he legit like hasn't thrown a pick in like this whole season
not one.
since last season. Yeah, this dude does not turn the ball over.
it's
insane.
You want to verify that?
I'm pretty verified. Like blue check mark on Twitter and everything, baby.
There we go.
Pays that $11 a month.
Yes, sir.
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Finally getting the work, bro.
He kind of had a little bit of a showing out party there versus Dallas last week, and where they're going and having to play San Francisco this next week, you expect San Francisco. They're obviously focused on Lockett and DK, especially after what DK.
I don't
just
know
did
about that last week. I would definitely be focusing on.
But that's the thing is you can't really
Jackson and
focus on
DK.
Jackson Smith without and then just leave Lockett, the savvy vet, just leave him
well,
open.
what I was trying to get out last week. I mean, after watching that Thursday night game, how can anybody cover DK? He's an anomaly in this league. Like, the Seahawks should be able to win the Super Bowl if DK could just score 3 touchdowns a game.
Oh well,
which
yeah,
he
that'd
should
be
be able
awesome
to.
if you're starting.
No,
wide
he
receiver
should
could
be
score
able
3
to though.
touchdowns a game.
He's big enough. He's fast enough. You just toss the ball up. Who is gonna get it? Who in the league is good enough to stop him from doing that?
Jalen Ramsey.
That
I
was
was
the only
about to
guy I could
say-
think of. This is the only guy. After seeing him jumping in the air like that, I was
Yeah.
like, God damn.
Well, because you
that
need
man
someone
could
that's
stop him.
got length too, and Jalen. That's what makes him so crazy of an athlete. is
There's not
because
many
he's
Richard
long,
Shermans in the league.
and exactly. But Richard Sherman wasn't really that fast. He had good straight line
He's lengthy
speed,
though.
but
He's lengthy.
he that's what he had, and that's why he could
he
only
shut down
cover
the
that
big body
one side.
receiver. Crabtree.
So the main thing I wanted to, the main
Sorry,
stat I wanted to throw out as to why I like Jackson Smith, because he's probably not your wide receiver too, unless you're just in like a 16 team super deep league, but even maybe not then. But for me, he was thrown to on third down, the money down, more than DK or Lockett. And typically that's where Lockett's home is that
Yes.
third
Yeah.
down, 6 to 7 yard range.
I
Let
didn't
me
see
sit here and
Lockett.
get you the first.
On top
Lockett
of that,
had a decent game, but to me, Jackson Smith was just super solid, smooth, fluid in and out of routes. His hands
and
were
I
very
thought that
sure.
was a touchdown.
thank you.
That definitely looked like
oh,
a touchdown.
Bro.
Even if it's not,
I'm
the
a
fact
Cowboys
that
fan.
he's getting that target, the fact that he's that close to the touchdown,
Now they called it a touchdown on the field, so the fact
it
that they
should have been a touchdown,
overturned
bro.
it,
that's crazy.
the fact that they overturned it was super shocking.
I
to me.
saw
But to me,
why.
I almost
but-
wonder if they didn't have the pass interference flag to go with it. If that flag's not thrown, do they overturn it? Because when they overturn that, it's pass interference in the end zone. The ball is automatically at the 1 yard line.
Yeah. They got the touchdown anyways.
They scored 3 touchdowns.
Oh, I know.
Geno Smith threw 3 touchdowns in 3 plays.
Just
That
the
one to
DK.
Jackson Smith that they called back, pass interference. Then he threw a touchdown the very next play to, I believe it was Lockett or Fant. Noah Fant in the back in the
Noah
end zone.
Fant.
Holding, called that back, and then DK got his second touchdown. Like 3 plays, 3 touchdowns. Geno just walked off like, God, damn it, dude. Like, what do I have to do out here? I'm trying to score. I'm trying,
Hey.
coach. See what I'm doing out here. So, streamer this week, Khalil Shakir. You're expecting a little bit of a shootout with Kansas City Buffalo. If you're hoping for anything like that playoff game that we got, and for Buffalo's sake, they need it. They need this game. Like, they absolutely need it.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City, as far as what they're
They're in the
hoping for,
hunt.
maybe possibly getting that 1 seed and having the playoffs go through Kansas City again for
Well,
a
they're-
fifth
they-
straight year.
They just lost their chances by losing last night, didn't they?
They didn't
that
lose
Not
their
difference is pretty
chances.
big.
mathematically.
Because
No,
the
but
Dolphins,
it hurt them a lot.
the Dolphins are probably going to drop one more. The Jags are honestly they have the easiest chance of being the number
Who do
one
you think the
because
Dolphins?
the Jags only play Baltimore, I think, and Baltimore's like
Well,
the
let
only.
me stop you. Let me stop you right there because I mean they're tied up with the Bengals at half. So and the Bengals are playing with a backup quarterback. So
Yeah, if they don't
Let's
figure
ease up
this
on the
game out,
Jags. Yeah.
it's gonna be rough sailing.
They
but
still have the
but back
easiest
to the
path.
Dolphins. Who do they have that
We played-
take them down?
We played the Cowboys. We played the
Oh, yep, yeah, you're gonna
the
take it down.
Bills.
Yeah, sorry about it.
And we play the Baltimore.
I
You're
don't
only gonna
think
lose
you know
one.
how bad your team plays versus motion.
Wow, you've been really going deep into this.
And the
film.
Dolphins and the Niners run the motion more than any team in the league. So good luck with
Yeah,
that.
I don't think you realize you can't handle the
that
star,
game's gonna be
baby.
fun to preview. So I can't wait for Christmas. That's gonna be a good one. But no, so you expect a shootout. Khalil Shakir, Diggs is gonna get the focus. Gabe Davis is probably gonna have one of those Gabe
Injuries
Davis games.
in the back end of the
Gabe Davis
Chiefs.
anytime touchdown is probably a solid bet in this game. But I like Khalil Shakir for the
Yeah.
factor of Josh Allen is going to want to, and at some points in this game, he's going to have to take deep shots. And Khalil
Which-
Shakir will be their best option at those deep shots because of his speed. So for me, he's just a flyer. Like I said, that's why we got him listed as a streamer for the week. But he's a guy,
I
if
like
you're
it.
desperate, pick him up, plug him in your flex, and just pray.
The Chiefs have shown they're vulnerable in the secondary. They've had 2 injuries with Thornhill and then their backup for Thornhill. So I'm pretty sure that's their free safety or safety, and so that's not good for the Chiefs. They also, I think they have a third injury with the cornerback. So
Yeah,
that's why the Packers are just piecing them apart. I
I'm
mean, those all
excited
happen.
I'm excited for this Sunday because the Dolphins play on Monday. I can focus all my efforts on Sunday, just watching everybody tune into Red
It's so
Zone and
nice.
just love it.
It's
Just
so
straight
nice getting your
focus on
team out of the way
just
on like
me
a
and
Thursday
Scott
or a
Hansen
Monday.
one-on-one, just me and him. That's what we're doing. But hey,
we're all with him too, bud.
no, I'm with him. You're not with him. It's just
I'm
me and
hanging with Scott too.
It is
No,
me
and
and
Scott
you
have
and
good
Scott
chats,
hanging
my
out.
guy.
Not you. Nobody else
No.
is there. He's talking to me.
No, he's talking to me.
No, he's talking to me. Scott,
I
if
thought
you're
he was
listening
talking to
this
me.
and you like tea, go to TulsiRoseTea.com. Get all your tea needs there. White teas, black teas, strawberry teas, rainbow teas, some boba.
Gracie's
Get you some tea cups.
cotton candy tea.
They might have an apron in there. They've got some honey suckers that just pure honey. It's a sucker. Delicious. They get you some raw honeycomb. It's a little waxy, so be careful with that. But hey, like,
It is.
subscribe, hit the little notification bell for us. And hey, keep a lookout. We got running backs and tight ends coming up for you later. Toodaloo, buckaroos.
Doses. Can I be one less lonely girl? One less lonely girl.